Already Lifted for Life here, bringing guys a brand new archetype analysis. So today, it marks the day that we start talking about the new stuff from Raging Tempest, as well as also DDDs and stuff. So really, honestly, just trying to really be able to talk about these so that people who are interested in these decks can, try and get a general idea for everything. So I wanted to cover Zodiacs first because I just want to get it out of the way. Okay, let's be honest. Nobody likes Zodiacs as an actual deck because of just how terrifyingly fast they are. Okay, like seriously, this deck is gonna come out, and literally every single thing that's gonna be topping is gonna be Zodiac something, Zodiac Lunalight, Zodiac, uh, Kaiju. Apparently, I don't get how Zodiacs and Kaiju work together, but hey, whatever. So but however, this video, as everybody knows with previous archetype analysis, is we look at the archetype as a whole and then talk about its, competitive viability, if there is any. Now, obviously, everybody knows Zodiacs is going to be borderline tier 0, not tier 0, but however, borderline tier 0, and this deck is very, very powerful. Correction, this engine is very, very powerful. The actual archetype sucks. I'm going to be completely honest. The actual deck, if you play pure Zodiacs, it sucks. It's not a good archetype. The only good cards in it is Momorat, the continuous spell, and then of course the Xyz monsters that you use to do the swarming thing. If Momorat were to get hit or something, this deck would be dead. Nobody would care about this archetype whatsoever. And that is the sad truth of it. And it's really, really sad, since I actually do really like the playstyle of this archetype. Zodiacs, for those who don't know, they're based off the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. 13 if you want to count the cat. Funny story about all that stuff. I don't know if they're going to actually include the cat or not. Oh, wait, no, tiger and cat, different thing. So really, in all honesty, the big thing about them, aside from the really cool theming, I like the theme. The whole 12 signs of the Zodiac, and also for some reason Viper really, 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 really heavily reminds me of Yuki Terumi from BlazBlue. Just a little plug about my favorite fighting game series. The big theme of this archetype, though, is that their Xyz monsters can be Xyz summoned with one monster. And that's just crazy. We've seen it done a lot in the anime, but they've never released an actual monster that can be used just, oh hey, one monster. One monster from your main deck. Yeah, there's plenty of Xyz monsters that you can plop on top of an Xyz monster, but we've never had monsters that do, oh hey, you can use one level 4 to go into this instead of 2. And that is crazy. And that's what this whole deck is designed around. And they put some stipulations on it that makes the deck actually somewhat... It doesn't make it broken as much. Okay, so enough kind of just all that. Let's actually start talking about the actual cards. So, Zodiac Thoroughblade. Level 4, 1600, Beast Warrior, Earth. 1600 attack, 0 stats. You'll see quite often with Zodiacs, they excel in one stat and then fail in the other, or in the case of Rabina, is pretty even. And Thoroughblade is the highest attack point monster in the entire archetype. I'm not joking about that. And of course we'll get to the Xyz, but he is the highest attack power monster in the entire archetype. He's also a really, really cool card. If this card is no more spell summon, you can discard one Zodiac card, and if you do, draw one card. And an Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior with this card as Xyz material gains this effect. It gets piercing. So, another thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that all Zodiac beasts have some sort of effect that they do while they're as a standard monster, and another effect while they are attached to a Xyz monster that was a Beast Warrior. And that is really, really helpful. Being able to give your monster piercing is really, really cool. You can just be able to trample over your things. And the Zodiac Beast Xyz monsters are able to get to some really, really high attack power. It just takes like 2-3 turns if you're doing that route. And so this is really, really good for that general thing. It sets up your plays. A few of the Zodiac cards do want to be in your graveyard, especially if you have Rabina or Ram, whom of which we will get to here shortly. And so Thoroughblade is just really, really cool for that general thing. Next up, Zodiac Beast Viper. This guy is arguably one of the best monsters in the deck outside of Momorat. Like, if Momorat gets banned, then this guy will be the best one in the deck. Like, he's honestly probably the best for actual Zoodiac Beast, not the engine, to be completely honest. So, Zoodiac Viper, Beast Warrior Earth, everybody's Earth and Beast Warrior, gonna stop reading off that, and everybody is level 4. So, he's 1200 by 400, really good stats, kind of mediocre, honestly, but really good for what he does. So, during your first turn, you can target a Beast Warrior type Xyz monster you control, attach this card from your hand or field to it as Xyz material. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior with this card as a Xyz material gains this effect. If this card battles an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. Again, another really good effect that I like. Also, the cool thing about him is that you can do his monster effect during either player's turn, and regardless if he's in your hand or on the field. So you can attack with him, then use his effect, put him on your Xyz monster, and then attack with them. Really, really cool. Granted, though, that doesn't happen too often. But, however, I really do like this guy's effect. I also really like the fact that he banishes your opponent's monsters if he's attached to a monster as Xyz material. That is a really, really good effect. It gets rid of, it makes it where your opponent doesn't get their Cosmo effects, and it prevents other destruction by battle effects that require the monster to go to graveyard. Really, really, really good card overall. I really do like it. Next up is Zoodiac Beast Rabina, arguably the cutest monster in the deck. I would argue that Tigress is probably cuter. Anyways, just for people who care. Anyways, so 800 attack, 800 defense, not very good. Also, see, reminds me a lot of Elfelt from Guilty Gear. Like, I just the rabbit design and the giant gun screams Elfelt from Guilty Gear, if anybody's played that game. So, if she is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a Zoodiac card in your graveyard, except herself, add it to your hand. So, that is really, really good, just being able to get back your continuous spell. You can't get back the field spell because it's following that stupid trend of all the field spells not being part of the archetype, so I don't really get it. And then, of course, you can get back the absolutely really, really, really good trap card for the actual deck, not the engine. So this card, I'll cover the trap card once we get to it, but Rabina, really good for that general effect. And then, while she's attached to an Xyz monster that was a Beast Warrior, during your first turn, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect that targets this card, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, negate the activation. Really, really good effect, being able to negate targeting spells. Granted, though, there aren't that many anymore that people play, but hey, you never know. I really do like this effect. Next up, we get to Zoodiac Ram. Zoodiac Ram, he's a really... He's basically does what Rabina does, but for traps. And also puts... He's able to special summon a Zoodiac Beast whenever he is destroyed by battle or card effect from your graveyard. So, really good being able to recur your Zoodiacs from your graveyard and also being able to negate trap cards. He does have 400 attack and 2000 defense, though, so he's not an offensive one. Still a really good card, though. There's a lot more targeting traps, especially stuff like Impulse and does Dimensional Prison target? I can't remember if it does or not now. I'm pretty sure it does target, though. Okay, so now that we've covered the 4 actual good ones for the actual archetype, let's cover the main engine of the deck. Main engine of the engine. So, Zoodiac Beast Marmorat, or Momorat. I don't know what name they're going to go with. Keep in mind, all the TCG names have not been 100% confirmed yet. But, however, Zoodiac Momorat, whatever. Level 4 is 0/0. If this card is normal summon, you can send one Zoodiac card from your deck to the graveyard. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior with this card as Xyz material gains this effect. Once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, special summon one Zoodiac Marmorat, whatever, from your hand or deck. Okay. To really get the full idea for this engine and why everybody is playing it and everything, I also got to cover the next card as well. Elemental Triangle of the Zoodiac. So it's a continuous spell card. You can target one face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon one Zoodiac monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of it once per turn. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Zoodiac Xyz monster you control, attach this card from your graveyard to that target as Xyz material. Now, this card is really, really good. You're able to just destroy something. You can destroy Rabina or Ram, get their effects, and then special summon another dude. And then, hey, if you destroyed Ram, hey, look at that. You got 2 guys out. You can make an Xyz, and it doesn't have to be a Zodiac monster in particular. Go away, game theory. So, really, really good card. And the thing is that the engine, basically, you put 3 of Momorat, 3 of Elemental Triangle, put 2 of every single one of the Xyz monsters that we have access to right now, and there you go for the engine. I am not joking, that is what the engine is, and it speeds up decks so incredibly much, and especially like Lunalight, heck, with Zodiac Lunalight, you are able to just churn out so much stuff, because basically what you do is you make Momorat, you put Wild Bow, or sorry, Boar Blow? I'm sorry, but that is not a boar. That is a monkey. I don't care what you say, Konami. That is a monkey. Okay, so you put him on him. Then you put, like, the Bullhorn over here. And then basically just search, you spam out. And then, hey, look at that. You got, like, 4 or 5 monsters out. 2 traps set. And, hey, you still got a good hand. So, really stupid consistent and everything. And, of course, since they're Beast Warriors, you got Tanky that you can search out. If you're playing triple of this, and if you're playing triple Momorat, which you should be, and you're playing triple of this, and you're playing triple Tenki, you effectively have 9 Momorat to get to in your opening hand incredibly easily, and heck, even then, I'm pretty sure I'm missing some other way, so that then you effectively have, what, 1/4 of your entire deck dedicated to Momorat? That is just crazy, and it really is because of just how much advantage you can get thanks to Momorat, because Momorat, while it says once per turn, if you reattach him onto an Xyz monster, you're able to use it again, which is crazy. Okay, so whenever people say Zodiacs are topping, they are literally ignoring everything in this deck except for Momorat, Triangle, and then the Xyz monsters, and then it'll be thrown into whatever deck, like insert deck here, Zodiac Kaiju, Zodiac Lunalight, Zodiac something. I was recently trying out Zodiac Subterror. That works incredibly scarily well. I was not expecting it to work as well as it does. So yeah, Zodiacs can be literally thrown into just about everything. And heck, if you're playing supply unit or whatever it's called, the spell card that lets you draw a card every time a monster you control is destroyed, you just get so much crazy amounts of advantage. These 2 cards are what make the deck broken, and even then it's not the full deck, it's literally just the engine, and that is what really saddens me, because I actually really do like the actual deck itself, but the engine is just so incredibly stupid good. Next up, we got the field spell that literally nobody plays. Not even pure Zodiac builds play this. So all Zodiac monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. Really helpful, especially considering the Zodiacs have pretty crap stats, and the Xyz monsters' stats are based on what Xyz materials they have. So this really does help, just for that alone. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target Beast Warrior type monsters you control for attacks, except the Beast Warrior monster you control with the highest attack, either have tied. Once per turn, if a Zodiac monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy one other monster in your hand or field instead. This card is actually, I really do like it, okay? It's really hard to find a reason to put it into your deck, because the deck is pretty tight, honestly. Like, even pure Zodiacs, especially after the new stuff, is just, it has a tight deck space, honestly. That being said, though, Zodiac Sign, I actually really do like this card. Being able to destroy your Rabina or your Ram in your hand and get their effects is really nice. The attack boost is really nice. And honestly, also being able to prevent your opponent from attacking your weaker Zodiacs is also really nice. This card is really good. It's just, there's no reason to play it in the engine, and there's no reason to play it really in the main build, unless like you're playing 1 or 2 of it. Like, I don't know if I would play 3 if I could find room for it. Then we get to Seasonal Direction to the Zodiac. I don't get what's up with the name, so don't ask. So target 1 Zodiac Xyz monster you control. Attach 1 Zodiac monster from your deck to that target as Xyz material. During your first turn, except a turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 5 Zodiac cards with different names in your graveyard. Shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 1 card. So this card is really good. It's not played in the engine because you have to target 5 cards with different names, and so there's almost no reason to do that. But however, the main thing that I really do like about this card for the actual pure variant is target a Zoodiac, Xyz monster you control, and put any Zoodiac onto it as an Xyz material. That is incredibly helpful for the deck. It gets the Zoodiac Xyz monsters to have higher attack power, and it gets them to have more effects. It's so incredibly helpful. And then being able to banish it and put 5 Zoodiacs back into your deck is incredibly helpful as well. And it doesn't have to be monsters. It can be the spell card. It can be the other trap card. Heck, it can even be another copy of the trap card. It's a really good card. But, however, it's just not played in the engine, so it's immediately considered crap by most players. And then we get to the Xyz monsters. So first and foremost is Zoodiac Beast Tigress. Now, before I actually get to the effects, I do want to cover something real quick that they all share in between them. They all share the ability to use any one Zoodiac monster you control with a different name as the Xyz material. So, for instance, for Tigress, you can use any Zoodiac except for a Tigress as one Xyz material. You can only do that once a turn, though. Additionally, all the Zoodiac Xyz monsters do not have attack or defense, and their attack and defense is based on the attack and defense of all monsters attached to them as Xyz materials. And then after that, they all have different effects. And of course, they also all have their own summoning condition, and like it's really funny because, like for instance, Tigress, they want 3 level 4 monsters, and then Drancia 4. Wild Blow 5, and then Broad Bull 2. So you don't have to use those crazy high numbers. You can just use, oh hey, 1 monster, which is really cool. So Tigress, like everybody else, she's a rank 4, and her effect is that once per turn you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target one Xyz monster you control, and 1 Zoodiac monster in your graveyard, attach that Zoodiac monster to that Xyz monster as Xyz material. So this is a really cool effect. It has all sorts of different utility purposes to use. You can put the main thing that people do is they detach a card, put a Momo Rat onto Tigress, and then use effect to detach and summon out a Momo Rat. But however, you can use it for other things. Let's say, for instance, you have a Daigusto Emerald that you've used up all of the Xyz materials on. You can summon out Tigress, use her effect, detach, put a material onto Emerald, and then you can use Emerald's effect once again. You don't have to target a Zoodiac Xyz monster, you just simply have to put a Zoodiac monster onto it, which is really cool. It can lead to all sorts of gimmicky plays and stuff, which I really like. I'm all about gimmicky plays. But however, this card is overall really good. Then we get Drancia. Now, for some reason, people really want Drancia banned or at 1 or something. I don't get it. I don't see it. I'm confused. Anyway, so Drancia, like everybody else, same effects. And then her effect is you can detach the Xyz material from her during your first turn, target a card on the field that's face up, destroy it. Okay? I don't get why people want this card hit to 1 or banned. It makes no sense. Now, granted though, yes, for the engine, usually the last thing they summon is Drancia because then, hey, during your opponent's turn, it's disruption plays. That's really cool. But 2 things. Drancia targets. It has to be, actually, no, wait, 3 things. It targets. It has to target a face-up card. And thirdly, finally, it destroys, okay? Targeting destruction. Everybody has been saying that targeting destruction is the worst thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! For the past few months, and then all of a sudden a targeting destruction card that can only target face-up cards comes out and everybody wants it banned. I don't get it. I don't get you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. Explain it. That being said though, Drancia is really good for disruption purposes. But, however, don't expect her to be able to destroy very many monsters. You'll mostly be destroying continuous spells, continuous traps, face-up field spells, stuff like that. Oh, hey, your opponent activates Union Hanger, Chains Drancia, pop it. Stuff like that. You won't be destroying very many monsters because, as I said earlier, most monsters nowadays have prevention from targeting or destruction effects. So this card is really good, but not for monster control, generally speaking. Next up is Wild Blow, which for the engine is completely irrelevant and only used as Xyz material to use the other guy's effects. But, however, for the pure version, he is your win condition. So, Wild Blow can attack your opponent directly, which is really cool because he can get to really high amounts of attack power. And then when he attacks, whenever he attacks and does battle damage, if he has 12 or more Xyz materials attached to him, your opponent sends all cards from their hand and field to the graveyard. That is really really scary. Now, granted, though, the way I have it worded is you can send as many cards as possible from your opponent's hand and field to the graveyard. And then after that, sadly, he goes to defense position. But you don't really care. Now, granted, though, you don't hardly ever get that effect off. But, however, you can still have him really high amounts of attack power, attack directly. Like, I've had times where he has like 5,300 attack power, attack directly. And, heck, really, honestly, you never really get that effect off to, well, you know, send everything your opponent has in their field and hand to the graveyard. But, however, you don't really need it because you almost always one-shot or two-shot your opponent, and that is scary. Especially since you're going to have the protection from Rabina and Ram, and then of course you got the piercing and the bonus attack from Viper. Really, really scary card once you have all of these Xyz materials attached to them. And then you can play other things to put more Xyz materials onto them, just simply to be able to get that effect faster, like XYZ... crap, I've got what it's called, but it's like a spell card that you attach, you activate it, and then you target an Xyz monster, and you basically attach it to it as Xyz material. Oh yeah, overlay regen. That's what it was called. So lots of ways to do it, and then heck, you also have the trap card that helps out, and then of course if your opponent destroys triangle or you destroy triangle, you can attach it to him as Xyz material. So there's lots of ways to do it, but generally speaking, it's really hard to do on your first turn. Generally speaking, it's going to be like second turn. Obviously, the easiest way is to simply go and like use two monsters, go into an Xyz material monster, like for instance Bullhorn, and then just overlay everybody on top of each other and use Wild Blow last. The issue, obviously, with that is that then you're missing out on Drancia to pop stuff, and then obviously you aren't like really gonna have as much protection as you would if you had like Ram and Rabina. I did that in reverse, but whatever. So really good card. Just he's not really. He could be a lot better. Granted, though, I like the gimmick, and I really honestly can't wait to get the rest of the stuff from Maximum Crisis, because after Raging Tempest, it's almost impossible to build a pure Zoodiac Beast deck because of just how few cards they have. Like, seriously, it's really hard to do a pure Zoodiac deck. I actually ended up having to mix them with Fire Fists in order to try and play a pure version. So, yeah, honestly, he's going to be really, really good once we get the rest of the stuff over here. And then, finally, the main one that, like, is really, really good, and I can't personally wait for, is Zoodiac Broad Bull. So, his main thing is you can detach Xyz material from your deck to your... you can detach Xyz material and then add one Beast Warrior type monster that can be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand. I don't get why they specify that it has to be normal summoned or set. I can't think of any Beast Warriors that are relevant enough that can't be normal summoned or set. Maybe I'm not thinking of anything like right off the bat. I'm going to have to like do some research or something a bit later. But however, being able to search out literally the entirety of Beast Warrior typing and not just like level 4 or lower like with tanky or anything is amazing, and this card is going to be a staple in a lot of Beast Warrior decks in the future, especially since he is generic. He's 2 level 4 monsters. You don't need Zoodiacs, so you can search out literally any freaking Beast Warrior you want. Heck, that is why this deck really does help out Lunalight so much, because Broad Bull just speeds up the deck so much. Now, with that being said, though, for the engine, I haven't seen anybody actually use this effect in the engine unless they're playing Viper, which not everybody does in the engine. But hey, you can use this effect if you really want to. Now then, for the future stuff that we aren't getting until Maximum Crisis, which is not going to be till August, we got a few more cards, 4 new cards, 1 new main deck monster, 2 new Xyz, and a continuous trap card. So the first main deck monster is Zoodiac Cluckle. They actually like they mistranslated this a little while ago, so it was basically the same name but without the L between C and U, so use your imagination with that. So Cluckle here, Beast Warrior Earth, 800 attack, 1200 defense. And then, whenever he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a Zoodiac card in your graveyard, except himself, shuffle it into the deck. Really good effect. I like that, being able to just get stuff back into your deck. And then if he's attached to Xyz material, he provides even more protection. During each player's turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect that targets this card, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and negate that activation. I don't get why we didn't just get this guy along with the others, because this would have helped out Zodiacs as an actual archetype a whole lot more, because there's a lot more targeting monster effects that are used. Like Kieran, Dark Rebellion, 101, Castell, I can keep on going, but this guy really does help out the deck. He protects your Wild Blow and your other Xyz monsters, and is just overall really good. Now then, for the new Xyz, honestly, I don't like Hammerkong too much, but here's what Hammerkong does. So, same thing as usual, and then while this card is Xyz material, your opponent cannot target other Zodiac monsters on the field with card effects. Once per turn during the end phase, detach one Xyz material from this card. So that's not during just your end phase, that's during your opponent's end phase too. So you must detach two, you have to detach one during your turn and one during your opponent's turn. So while your opponent can't target your other Zodiacs, it's only going to be one for one turn usually, and maybe two if you're lucky. Hammerkong is just not very good. He needs 3 or more level 4 monsters to go into normally, and honestly, he's just not worth playing in any Zodiac build pretty much ever. Now, granted though, I do like the effect, but it only covers you once. I don't get that. Like, if it was once during your opponent's end phase, that would have been a lot better, but no, it's during your turn, which really does suck. And then we got Zodiac Leica. First and foremost, like with all the others, I really do enjoy the artwork. The artwork on these just look absolutely beautiful. And so Leica, what she does, and she's honestly the better of the two between her and Hammerkong. So once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and target one Zodiac monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, but for the rest of the turn, it has its effects negated. Also, it cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon. Yeah. You special summon a Zodiac and it can't be used for an Xyz summon. And it has its effects negated. So, really honestly, and I'm just double checking something. Okay, so it is an Xyz summon. So, I'm not exactly sure on that, but I believe you can't use the monster you summon for her for any of the effects to summon her. Now that being said though, she is still pretty good because she gets more stuff out on the field and she sets up plays for the following turn. Or if you're playing the new trap card, she allows oh wait, no, it has been, yeah, it still allows for some interesting plays. So the new trap card, Zodiac Yankee, which I can't tell what they're doing, but I think they're at a hot spring or something. And I think right there is another Zodiac that we don't have yet, unless it's Cluckle, but it doesn't really look too much like Cluckle. I can't tell. So Zodiac Yankee. If a Zodiac Xyz monster you control would activate its effects by detaching its own Xyz materials, you can detach that many Xyz materials from another Xyz monster you control instead. Really cool effect. I like that. You can only use this effect of Zodiac Yankee once per turn, and that's kind of what kills it, but hey, whatever. You can banish the card from your graveyard, then target 2 Zodiac Zodiac Xyz monsters you control, attach one of them to the other as Xyz material. So the cool thing is that like it really combos well with Leica. You use Leica effect, detach, target one of your dead Zodiac Beast Xyz monsters, and then use this card effect, banish it, and then put the other guy onto Leica. So really good card, kind of meh. I could see some people playing it, some people not, and I can see why you have arguments for both and why not. So, Zodiacs, what's my overall thoughts and opinions on them? I like the archetype as a whole. The issue is Momorat should have been a hard once per turn clause. If Momorat was a hard once per turn card, I don't see this. This deck would not have been as relevant as it has been. And heck, really, honestly, had Momorat had the hard once per turn clause on it, this deck would be a tier 2 deck at best. And even then, that would be pushing it, because except for until we got these. But anyways, so everybody knows that this deck is going to be good. There's no denying about it. But however, I do want to make the distinction between the actual archetype and the engine. The engine is literally just Momorat and Triangle. So whenever you see a Zodiac deck, quotation marks, top, it's not the actual deck. It's a deck using the engine. And that's the big thing. The engine is broken. The deck is nothing to really bother to care about, really, honestly. But the engine is broken enough to warrant this deck being borderline tier 0. Again, if you think it's tier 0, it really isn't. But however, I have a whole separate video talking about that. So this deck is very much going to be a very, very meta relevant deck. Unless we get like a super quick ban list, which I don't see Konami doing, except for maybe after a week or two. I don't know. So, anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on Zodiacs? Do you like the deck? Do you like the engine? Do you like both? Do you hate this deck with a burning passion of 1,000 suns because it's the quote next tier 0 deck? What do you guys think about it? Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later, and peace out.